Okay. Good morning, Minneapolis. Welcome back to another Good Morning Minneapolis episode from OnSitePublicMedia. I'm your host, Toussaint Morrison. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate everybody who tuned in last time and has purchased these mugs. We're almost out of them. You can get them from the link below. Also, the special poster screen print that was made for a special city council member. Those are running out as well, and you can find those in the link below. So thank you so much for everybody that tuned in, and we just appreciate all the support. We're public media, but we're not funded by Tim Walz. All right, today in obvious news, the only thing more delicate than white fragility during a conversation about race is the male ego that will undoubtedly defend that white fragility. Okay, in our headline today, we have Casey Goodson from Columbus, Ohio, a 23-year-old black man who was shot and killed by police, shot and killed by a 17-year veteran of Franklin County Sheriff's Office, identified as Deputy Jason Meade. Casey Goodson was doing nothing then, going home from a dental appointment and carrying a sandwich. Yes, black man was carrying a sandwich and gunned down outside of his apartment. Now, for obvious reasons, you can understand the outrage, you can understand the injustice, you can understand a lot of things that are going on that are absolutely backwards and wrong. We think that we're making progress, yet here's another man that's been shot by the cops, another black man that's been murdered by the cops in cold blood for doing nothing then, carrying a sandwich. Let's break this down. CNN reports there was no body camera footage, and Goodson was not being sought at the time. Sharon Payne, Goodson's grandmother, told a 911 dispatcher that she found her grandson lying in a doorway after hearing gunfire, and she does not know who shot him, according to a recording obtained by CNN from the Columbus Division of Police. No body cam footage. You don't say. Now, let's talk about his grandmother finding him at the doorway of the apartment. So she heard gunfire and then found her grandson's body at the doorway of her apartment. We need to talk about the treatment of black bodies or the treatment of bodies of color after they've been murdered by the cops. When you look at Isaac Aiden, shot many times by the police, then handcuffed. You look at Travis Jordan, shot many times by a police member, then handcuffed. After they take the life of said body of color, they then further the disrespect and mistreatment of that body by handcuffing it and pronouncing it dead once it's at the hospital. Clearly, these bodies have been eliminated, they've been murdered, they've been executed by police, but then they further the disrespect by leaving the body there or handcuffing the body after they have clearly killed said person. So, moving on, CNN continues. Family attorney Sean Walton told CNN that Goodson was not alleged to have committed any crimes, had no criminal background, and was not the target of any investigation. A review of court records did not show more than minor traffic-related offenses. Okay, here we go having to defend the dead. Now, if it's not enough that a person of color was killed by the cops, what will happen next is the media will swoop in to potentially assassinate the character of the already dead body. And this idea is not only to justify the extreme violence that the police have used on this young black man's body, but it's also to justify the dehumanization and further second-class citizenship of black bodies, native bodies, and bodies of color throughout this country and throughout this country's legacy and history. So when we talk about white supremacy, we're talking about violence upon non-white bodies and the attempted character assassination of those bodies as well to justify that violence. And even CNN has to come to this young man's defense even after he's dead. Now, there is a fiber of good news or some type of good intent in the entirety of this story. The Columbus City Council and Franklin County passed resolutions declaring racism a public health crisis. Now, if you're finding this familiar, it's because the same thing might have happened in your neck of the woods, and it definitely happened here in Minneapolis. In the resolutions, officials acknowledge the disparities people of color face in health, poverty, economic mobility, education, crime, and food access, and promise to address them. But activists say the resolutions did little to relieve racial tension. Because the police are still killing black men. And even right here in Minneapolis, Mayor Frey and the city council declared racism a public health crisis and pacified thousands, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of citizens in the Twin Cities, especially white people that were pacified at Powderhorn Park while they listened to the city council decry that they were going to defund the police, just to have that same city council turn around and vote to give the MPD $500,000 extra to suffice the year. The MPD is already $5.8 million over budget for the year of 2020, has killed a black man in cold blood, committed numerous other atrocities throughout the city, and is now asked for $500,000 more, and it was given to them by city council, and then the MPD turned around and does this. Yes, just last Friday, after Casey Goodson was murdered in Ohio by police, the MPD decided it was a great idea to fly into George Floyd Square at the site of the lynching tree after they had murdered George Floyd about a half a year ago and terrorize the community. Officers said they were looking for one nonviolent offender, brought in 12 squad cars, over 20 officers, drew a gun on an unarmed person, and let's just replay this one more time. After MPD made their arrest, one officer picked out a random black man from the crowd who was observing the arrest and decided to throw him into the ground, dislocating his shoulder. Now, who was this officer that threw this man into the ground? Bob, no, it's not you. Get away. Get away. Go back to Hugo. Get out of here. Who was this officer that decided to throw this black man into the ground and give the other rookie cops a workshop on terrorizing neighborhoods of color? Well, it was none other than Kyle Mader, badge number 4397. Now, you can't tell that that's Kyle's badge number because he has tape over it. Kyle didn't want you to see his badge number, but he didn't wear a mask because he wants you to see his Bob Kroll mustache. Kyle Mader, when he isn't getting awards for saving lives, he's trying to take them out to break even. One-time Lifesaver Cop Award winner, 7-time Bad Cop Trophy winner. Kyle Mader decided to enter into George Floyd Square and fail a judo throw not once, not twice, but 3 times, which begs the question, did he win that Lifesaver Award because he failed to judo throw somebody and accidentally saved them from a car wreck? Kyle Mader, think about doing one good thing and then F up 7 times in a row. That's the gold standard for the MPD. Minneapolis Police. One sort of good thing for every 7 horrible things. Kyle Mader, you may not like it, but this is what peak masculinity looks like in Lakeville. Yes, Kyle Mader signed on to the Minneapolis Police Department in 2018. He's already racked up 7 complaints. 3 are still open. And he makes approximately, according to Gov salaries, $75,728 a year, according to public records. This salary is 45% higher than average and 34% higher than median salary in city of Minneapolis. It's also 100% higher than your favorite teacher. This goes to show you that crime pays, but police brutality pays even more. But if you want to get paid for doing nothing, or like get paid for a trip to Spain, all you got to do is become the city council member of the 9th Ward. If you've been assaulted by Kyle Mader, now is the time to report it to CUAPB.org. That is Communities United Against Police Brutality, CUAPB.org. Also, if you happen to see Kyle out in public, please report him to his mother and tell him to stop impersonating Bob Kroll. And now for the city council who said they would defund potential killer cops like Kyle Mader, the Minneapolis City Council voted early Thursday to shift nearly $8 million from next year's police budget to other city services as part of an effort to transform public safety in the city. The controversial plan was approved unanimously as part of the city's 2021 budget. Hey, you guys did the thing you said you were going to do and that we're paying you to do. Thanks for doing it the Mader way. One good thing for a career of mediocrity. Speaking of the Mader way, Mayor Frey had earlier threatened a veto to the budget, calling the police cuts irresponsible as the city confronts an unprecedented wave of violence and scores of police officer departures since Floyd's death that have left the department struggling to respond to emergencies. It didn't look like much of a struggle to attend to an emergency at George Floyd Square with 12 squad cars and over 20 officers and then brutalizing a bunch of black men. But in a statement early Thursday, Frey praised the council for removing language that would have permanently shrunk the size of the force by about 130 officers, in what Frey described as a defining moment for our city. So, shrunk the budget, but not the amount of the officers. But you know what I found to be a really defining moment in the city? This. So, cut the budget, they still have the same numbers. Kyle Mader's still at large. Casey Goodson, there'll probably be actions going on for that tragedy and that stolen life throughout the country. I can guarantee you within the next week there will at least be an action here in Minneapolis. Also this Saturday, 3 p.m. at Wilder Park is an action for Defund the Police that's been put on by the Black Caucus and many other groups. You can find that in the link below. Also, we are running out of the limited print that we showed you last time. After we run out, we're gonna put up a new one of a different city council member or a different neighborhood. It's gonna be a lot of fun. You're gonna love it. And the mugs are running out as well. So get them while you can. Also, this Sunday from noon to 4 at Bryant Square Park, there is a dual drive. One for snow pants because snow is coming in Minnesota and it is going to rain with the wrath of all winter. We haven't seen a lot of it this year, but it's coming. So Bryant Square Park, Sunday, noon to 4 is going to be a snow pant drive. Old snow pants, wash them, bring them over. Buy new snow pants from wherever around. You can get snow pants. Bring them to the drive on Sunday, noon to 4. We're trying to get as many snow pants as possible. 200 is our goal. Let's get 200 snow pants on Sunday from noon to 4. And also, here is a very, very, very special thing we're doing on Sunday as well. Noon to 4 at Bryant Square Park as well, we're going to be running a used camera drive. Now, we've had a lot of BIPOC youth, BIPOC communities, and BIPOC adults reach out to us and say, hey, we would love to have a camera. The initial idea was to buy brand new cameras and give them to people. However, the budget right now is just sustaining us enough to hire BIPOC folks and filmmakers and editors to get a lot of this stuff done, the folks that we can hire. And the idea now is to get as many used cameras for photography or for film and then turn them out to the community. For each of the brands of cameras that we get, we're going to make a video on how to use it. And then once we turn it over to said BIPOC youth or adult or community, we're then gonna give them that video as well and give them the unlisted link to it too. So used camera drive, noon to 4, Sunday, that is December 13th at Bryant Square Park. Lastly, you can also become a member and receive one of the prints that we're releasing below as well. If you're a member for $10 or more a month, you will receive free poster prints that we put out as long as you request them in the description once you join. So there's that. Also, the George Floyd Global Memorial is revolutionizing the way that we preserve and conserve art. If you understand what happened after Philando Castile, the outpouring of art occurred. Philando Castile was murdered by police in Minnesota. An outpouring of art came. The Minneapolis Institute of Art said, hey, we're gonna take this, and then it ended up disappearing and nobody knew where it went. So the idea that we have around white museums and galleries and you know the way that art is kind of colonized and taken from us and there's no ownership or community ownership of it, the George Floyd Global Memorial is revolutionizing the way that we look at that. Some of the amazing folks that are art preservationists and just conserving art from the George Floyd Square, they're revolutionizing the way that we do that. So go to GeorgeFloydGlobalMemorial.org and you can donate to them. They're doing a $1 million donor campaign. So they're looking for 1 million people to give $1 each. So go to GeorgeFloydGlobalMemorial.org and you can help out there. All right, that'll do it. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is Friday, December 11th. Thank you so much for all the support. The sun's gone down. We hope you're having a good time. We'll see you in the next one, and our work is never done.